So I'm currently at the Cancun airport. I did do the medical exemption with American Airlines that went into effect at the beginning of February through the government that allows medical exemptions if you have a negative COVID test and you have a doctor's note or whatever each airline is accepting. It's a little different. So we will see if my documentation will make it. I'm Mrs. Explorer. Join me in this video while I share my experience of getting a waiver to not wear a mask on board an aircraft with the new medical exemptions set forth by our local government in the U.S. I called ahead of time, probably about 2 weeks once I found out this was going to happen, and I put it on my reservation with American Airlines Reservations. This was taken directly from American Airlines website the day that it became live and legal through our mandates from our government. And then had to be moved to the last seat in the class of service I purchased, which was first class. Thank goodness. I don't want to sit in the back of a regular aircraft where it doesn't recline next to the bathrooms just because I have a documented disability with masks. So we shall see what happens. Wish me luck. Let's watch this nice calm video of the ocean and the beach while I explain what had happened. Requirements to be on the aircraft without the mask per the government mandate were to have a negative COVID test within 72 hours. I had that. I was traveling from Mexico back into the US, and so that was a requirement anyways. Next, you had to have a doctor's documentation stating that you had a medical waiver that was covered under their lists of whatever they were covering. You had to document your reservation at least 72 hours prior to your departure with a reservations agent over the phone. You have to be moved into the last row of the class of service that you purchased in. I did that with the reservations agent, booked in row 4 of first class where I had purchased my ticket. After doing these things and repeatedly asking the reservations agent, was there anything else that I needed to do? Was I supposed to submit my doctor's information prior to the departure, or should I just bring the doctor's note to the counter day of travel? Multiple times I asked her. She told me that it was fine because she had documented the reservation that we had spoken. I had moved my seats. I understood about the COVID test being negative and having to provide that information, along with just having a doctor's note would be perfectly fine. And to take it another step further, I seated myself in the window seat with a family member seated next to me. That way I didn't have a stranger surprised being seated next to someone without a mask, and this family member had been with me for the entire trip already. And to add even more, I had told the reservations agent that I was fine to wear a mask for a short period of time while boarding the aircraft so people wouldn't feel uncomfortable. Let's go to some calming vacation video while I tell you what really happened. I arrived at the counter 2 hours prior to departure with my general verify information that was required to fly normally. I provided my doctor's note and spoke to them about the exception that should have been documented on my reservation. For them to tell me and challenge me and argue with me, telling me that I did not call in and that I did not document my reservation, and that I was supposed to take it one step further by sending in my documentation with a form that if I truly had called in, the agent would have provided me with. I was not happy, I was hyperventilating, and I was overheating with the mask. At that time, I couldn't spend any more time on it because after getting a few supervisors involved, no one was going to be able to help me, and I still needed to go through security, and I needed to find an empty corner with no one in it to give me an opportunity to regain the ability to breathe normally. Now, there are so many opinions on this subject. I get it. We all have opinions. And COVID has brought out the best and the worst of all of us. But if a medical exemption is going to be offered, it should be honored and it should be respected.